Russian military maneuvers and global defense dynamics. Russia is evacuating naval assets from its base in Tartus, Syria, which may suggest that Russia does not intend to send significant reinforcements to support Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's regime in the near term. Analysts reported on December 2nd that satellite imagery from November 30th and December 1st showed that the Russian Admiral Gorshkov and Admiral Golovko-Gorskov-class frigates, the Admiral Grigorovich-Grigorovich-class frigate, the Novorossiysk Kilo-class submarine, the Yelnya Altai-class oiler, and the Vyazma Kaliningrad-Nev-class oiler were at the Russian base in Tartus. The Critical Threats Project's Africa file will cover Syria's impact on Russian activity in Africa and the Mediterranean in its upcoming update. The United States announced additional military assistance worth $725 million for Ukraine on December 2nd. The U.S. Department of Defense announced its 71st tranche of military assistance under the Presidential Drawdown Authority, including Stinger man-portable air defense system, MANPADS, missiles, HIMARS ammunition, 155mm and 105mm artillery ammunition, munitions for National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile Systems, tube-launched, optically tracked, wire-guided, TOW missiles, counter-unmanned aerial systems equipment and munitions, and AT-4 and Javelin anti-armor systems. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan stated on December 2nd that U.S. President Joe Biden has asked the DoD to deliver the aid rapidly and that the United States will deliver hundreds of thousands of additional artillery rounds, thousands of additional rockets, and other critical capabilities to Ukraine between early December 2024 and mid-January 2025. Russian officials continue to perpetuate information operations about prisoner-of-war exchanges in order to portray Ukraine as unwilling to negotiate and to undermine Ukrainians' trust in their government. Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Maria Zakharova claimed on November 27th that Russia has a list of 630 Ukrainian POWs that Russia is immediately ready to swap in a one-to-one exchange. Russian human rights ombudsman Tatyana Moskvalkova published the list of the alleged 630 Ukrainian POWs on December 2nd and claimed that Ukraine refused the swap after Russia suggested it. Ukrainian Coordination Headquarters for the Treatment of POWs Secretary Brigadier General Dmytro Yusov stated on December 3rd that Russian authorities have not submitted requests for such POW exchanges through official channels, and that the published list includes civilians and POWs whom Ukraine has already returned home. India is reportedly attempting to decouple its defense industry from Russia as it increases cooperation with Western defense companies and builds up its own defense industrial base. Bloomberg reported on December 3rd that senior Indian officials stated that India has sharply reduced its defense equipment orders from Russia and instead started purchasing defense equipment from Western suppliers. The officials reportedly stated that India canceled plans to jointly develop and manufacture helicopters and advanced fighter jets with Russia some time ago, and that India is unlikely to move forward with plans to lease a Russian nuclear-powered submarine to train Indian crews as India is building its own submarines. One unnamed senior Indian official reportedly stated that Russian-made weapons are often cheaper than Western weapons but need frequent repairs, which increases their long-term costs. Previously reported on other sources of increased tensions within the Russia-India relationship, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's August 23rd visit to Ukraine and the reported transfer of Indian artillery shells through European intermediaries to Ukraine. Russia is evacuating naval assets from its base in Tartus, Syria, which may suggest that Russia does not intend to send significant reinforcements to support Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's regime in the near term. The U.S. announced additional military assistance worth $725 million for Ukraine on December 2nd. Russian officials continue to perpetuate information operations about prisoner-of-war (POW) exchanges in order to portray Ukraine as unwilling to negotiate and to undermine Ukrainians' trust in their government. India is reportedly attempting to decouple its defense industry from Russia as it increases cooperation with Western defense companies and builds up its own defense industrial base, DIB. Ukrainian forces recently advanced in Kursk Oblast and regained lost positions near Kupiansk. Russian forces recently advanced near Toretsk, Pokrovsk, and Velika Novosilka. Russian forces reportedly continued to suffer significant personnel and armored vehicle losses throughout November 2024 as they attempted to maintain intensified offensive operations in eastern Ukraine.